What's going on, movie fans? My name is Michael Weer. I love talking about movies, and after 13 films, 5 timelines, and over 150 deaths, we have officially made it to the end of my Halloween movie review series, where all month long in October of 2025, I have been watching and reviewing each and every one of the films in the Halloween franchise, leading up to the spookiest day of the year, Halloween 2025, where, as promised, I'm dropping my ranked list for the entire Halloween franchise from the worst to the best. Now, just like in previous ranked list videos on this channel, it's never just about my opinion, it's about your opinion as well, and so I would absolutely love to know how you would rank the entire Halloween franchise from worst to best in that comment section down below. Just remember, your list probably won't match my list. We all look for something different in the Halloween series, so have fun with your list, but just remember, it's probably not going to match mine. And if you're looking for more than just my quick thoughts on these movies like you'll get in this video today, I would love for you guys to check out my entire Halloween franchise review playlist that's on my channel right now, where I have gone through each and every one of the films in the franchise and giving you guys my positives, my negatives, and my overall thoughts on those films. And finally, guys, before getting into my rank list, if this is the first time you found my channel, well, I would love for you guys to hit that subscribe button, check out all the different content on my channel, whether you like movie reviews, Blu-ray talk, or even ranked list videos. I've got a little bit of everything on my channel, and I'd love for you guys to check it out. All right, guys, let's get into my Halloween franchise ranked list from the worst to the best.
Michael Myers is alive.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Coming in at number 13, the worst movie in the Halloween franchise is Halloween Resurrection. Now, the reason this is the worst movie in the franchise for me is that it completely undid everything good that Halloween H2O had done, and it completely made a joke out of the characters of both Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. See, Halloween H2O had created a brand new timeline, something that didn't have anything to do with the previous Cult of Thorn timeline. It just looked at the events of Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and then Halloween 20 years later, Michael Myers coming back to finish the job to kill his sister, but in the end of that movie, Laurie Strode cut off Michael Myers' head. It was a definitive ending to the battle between both Laurie and Michael, but then Halloween Resurrection completely undid the end of that film, and then at the very beginning moments of this movie, Michael kills Laurie Strode. And with Laurie Strode dead, Michael Myers goes back, I guess, to just live in his old house, but that's when we get Dangertainment, because both Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks are running an internet webcam show out of the old Myers house. So now you have Michael Myers going through the Myers house and killing people on Halloween, but would ultimately become the absolute joke of the movie when he not only is bossed around by Busta Rhymes, but then loses in a fight to Busta Rhymes because Busta Rhymes uses Kung Fu. The movie just makes a joke out of the Halloween franchise. I don't know anybody that actually enjoys this movie. I mean, I guess you could put it on to laugh at, but that's all you could do with it because the movie itself is a joke and it's the worst film in the Halloween franchise. At number 12 might be the first controversial pick on this list, and it is Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. And the reason I've got this at number 12 is that this movie just feels like filler between the bigger events that happen in parts 4 and part 6. See, in part 4, they introduce Jamie Lloyd, a descendant of Michael Myers. She actually starts to take on the evil to the point where she actually kills someone at the end of this movie. And then in part 6, of course, you have the Cult of Thorn timeline, the curse of Michael Myers being explored, this group of people wanting to keep the boogeyman around. But part 5 just feels like filler between those two movies because nothing's really going on. Now, there's other issues that I have with Halloween 5 that make this at number 12 as well, like the character of Tina, who's just an insufferable character that you have to deal with for almost the whole runtime of the film. Then you've got Michael Myers driving around in a muscle car like a precision driver. If his driving wasn't annoying enough in the previous installment, moments. The fact that he's like a professional race car driver in this movie makes absolutely no sense. And then my final reason for putting this at number 12 is the weird slapstick humor that the director tries to pepper into this film with the police officers in Haddonfield who are supposed to be the funny guys in the movie, but in the background of their jokes, there's just these weird boom noises that go off like, oh, hey, did you hear those horns playing in the background? That means that they just told a joke. It's a really stupid way to try and get a joke across in a movie. So for all those reasons, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers is number 12. Sticking with the Cult of Thorn timeline, at number 11, we have Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Now it's at number 11 not because it's as bad as the previous two entries on this list, but because in my opinion, this is the most disappointing film within the entire franchise. Yeah, the other two films are just bad movies, but this movie had a lot going for it. We had all the events of Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, and Halloween 5. The idea that we were finally going to explore this Cult of Thorn that might be pulling the strings in the background for Michael Myers this entire time, and what we ended up getting was just a big jumbled mess of a film. The movie opens with Jamie Lloyd having a baby, and then after she gets killed by Michael Myers, Tommy Doyle, who's now all grown up, comes and rescues that baby, takes it to Dr. Loomis, and then the rest of the film is just Michael and the Cult of Thorn trying to get to that baby, and it ends with Paul Rudd beating the absolute hell out of Michael Myers until Michael Myers starts to leak green ooze. Why? They never explain it. And then after the baby is taken to safety, we cut back to that same room. Michael Myers' body is missing, but his mask is there. Why? They never explain it. And then it cuts back to Haddonfield with a picture of a pumpkin that flashes at you, and the movie ends. The movie feels like it genuinely had no direction. Now, I understand there's two different cuts of this film, both the theatrical cut and the producer's cut, and if you watch the different films, you get something a little bit different out of both of them. I'm specifically talking about the theatrical cut here, and again, it's just a mess of a movie, so that's why it's at number 11. Filling out the number 10 slot on this list is Halloween Ends, and the biggest fault of this movie is trying something brand new too late in the timeline. And what I mean by that is that this timeline was all about Laurie versus Michael. Laurie dealing with the trauma of her past and finally vanquishing Michael Myers once and for all. This timeline, of course, is the 40 years later timeline, a timeline that started back in 1978, would pick up again in 2018, would then continue with Halloween Kills, and would end with Halloween Ends. And the idea that Halloween Ends had built up to Michael versus Laurie and then completely shelves that idea till the very last couple minutes of this film as we get a new character, Corey Cunningham, to take on the evil of Michael Myers and go through the entire movie as basically the new pure evil character. It just doesn't work for me. It's too little, too late. And like I've said while reviewing these movies, this isn't a brand new concept. The idea that the evil can transfer itself from Michael to someone else is something we'd seen done in the past. In Halloween 4, Jamie Lloyd is infected by the evil. In Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Laurie Strode herself is infected by the evil. So if they wanted to go that path, they should have planted the seeds for that in Halloween 2018. Say that Michael is the boogeyman, but that power can transfer. But that's never the idea that this timeline had. It was always Laurie versus Michael. In Halloween Kills, Laurie and Michael never see each other, but all you get the entire movie is Laurie monologuing about how this fight is going to come down to them. So when you get to Halloween Ends, it's not that the concept of Corey Cunningham's character doesn't work, it's that you introduced it too late. So that's why Halloween Ends is at number 10. At number 9, we have a film that I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with in this franchise, and that is Halloween Kills. Now on the love side of this movie, I love the carnage candy throughout this film. Michael Myers breaking out of that house at the beginning of the film, killing all those firefighters, going through the town, killing so many people on a way back to his childhood home, only to get there, find that people live there now, so he kills them too. Then you have this angry mob that rises up against him, and he kills so many of them. So on the carnage side of this movie, I love it. I also love the look of Michael Myers in this film. It's my favorite Michael Myers mask in the entire franchise. It's already a pretty beaten up mask, but now now, it's burned down one side. And while we're speaking of masks, I also love that there's 3 kids running around Haddonfield with the Halloween 3 season of the witch masks. That's pretty cool too. But on the hate side of my love-hate relationship with this movie, the story is pretty abysmal. You've got this mob that rises up against Michael, and the most that they do throughout this film is chant "Evil dies tonight" as they accidentally lead to killing an innocent person or somebody else who had escaped from the same mental hospital that Michael was at, and then get themselves killed. So they don't really impact the film outside of just being idiots. And then you've got the story of Laurie Strode in this movie. You know, in the first movie, she was so calculated, she had a trap ready for Michael, but then when that goes to hell, she just sits in the hospital for the whole movie monologuing about how eventually it's going to get to Laurie versus Michael. And much like Halloween 5, we have another situation where we have a Halloween film that feels like filler between 2 films that actually matter. Not that I love Halloween Ends very much, but at least that had the definitive end to Michael in it, whereas this movie just has Michael going through Haddonfield killing people, and it doesn't really lead to anything special. They talk about, oh, every time Michael kills, he transcends. So since he kills more than 30 people in this movie, he's getting more and more supernatural or more and more powerful, but then they just strip him of that power in Halloween Ends, so that doesn't really matter either. So Halloween Kills is number 9 because it's again another disappointing entry and another filler entry in this franchise. At number 8 on my list, we have Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Now that Return of Michael Myers title was for 2 reasons. One, for the fans, because they had just put out Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and at the time that did not go over well with fans or critics since it didn't have Michael Myers in it. And so they pivoted back to Michael Myers, and that title was to sort of signify to the fans like, hey, we heard you, we're bringing back Michael Myers. But then in the story of this film, that title works as well because this movie would have Michael Myers return to Haddonfield to continue going after his bloodline. The character of Laurie Strode had died off screen in this film in a car crash, and apparently when that happened, Michael went into this coma-like state where he's just laying there in a hospital bed in a sanitarium. But then when he overhears some workers talking about the fact that he has a niece named Jamie Lloyd, well, that wakes him up and that makes him return to Haddonfield. On the positive side of this film, I think that it captures that Midwest atmosphere so damn well. The opening title sequence in this film is absolutely gorgeous, and this is the film that introduces the idea that evil can transfer itself from Michael Myers to someone else, in this case being Jamie Lloyd. It's hinted at throughout the movie, but it doesn't really happen till the very end of this film. And the reason why that's a positive in this film but a negative in Halloween Ends is because in this film it feels more earned. You have it sort of hinted at throughout the film until the very end of the movie when Michael Myers is presumed dead and Jamie Lloyd is now taking on that pure evil. Probably my biggest negative for this movie is how they cut away from so many of the kills throughout this film. There are a few moments like a guy getting his face just completely ripped off by Michael that are fun, but for the most part, anytime Michael kills someone, it finds a way to cut away from that kill and then show you the bloody aftermath, and that's not what we're looking for in a Halloween film. Coming in at number 7, we have Rob Zombie's Halloween. This film would come out after Halloween Resurrection, a film that completely tanked the Halloween H2O timeline, so this film would not only be a brand new timeline within the Halloween franchise, but it would also be a first of its kind. It would be a reboot to the entire Halloween universe. The movie would focus in the first half on the young Michael Myers as we see him go from a child who likes to kill animals to killing some of the people at school to then killing his own family, getting sent to a mental institution with Dr. Loomis where we would study Michael Myers over the years. And then the back half of this film is something that I really love, and it would be a remake of that 1978 film When Michael Came Home. This film shows the monstrous Michael Myers breaking out of that mental institution, going back to Haddonfield to look for his young baby sister Laurie and kill his way through so many people in such a brutal way. I actually love the back half of this film, and if it wasn't for the first half of this film, this might be my favorite movie in the franchise. Like, I love it that much. But the first hour of this movie with the young Michael Myers is almost unwatchable. Like, once you see it once, you're like, oh, okay, you explored Michael Myers, but there's so much of that Rob Zombie disgusting dialogue throughout the first hour of that film that it makes it unwatchable. And so when I watch this movie myself, I always skip that first half. I just go go right to Michael Myers breaking out on a Halloween night, and then I can enjoy myself. But if I watch this entire movie, it's just really difficult to get through. So Rob Zombie's Halloween is another film within this franchise that I have a bit of a love-hate with, because again, I love all the stuff he does in the back half of this movie, but everything in the front half, it's just unwatchable. At number 6, we have a film that tried to do something a little bit different in this franchise, and it is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. See, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, they wanted to move away from Michael Myers. They wanted to take the Halloween franchise and make it more of a Halloween anthology series, something that would come out once a year. It would be centered around Halloween, but again, it would move away from Michael Myers. So after Michael Myers was killed at the end of Halloween 2, they took their shot with Halloween 3, and you can pretty much guess how it went, because after this film failed to the box office, well, we went right back to Michael Myers. As for the film itself, I've got it at number 6 on my list, which is right in the middle of my rankings for the Halloween franchise, because I like that they tried to do something new with this franchise. I like that the concept of this film, a bunch of witches using the power of Stonehenge to try and kill a bunch of children around the world. I mean, if you look at this movie like a straight up Twilight Zone episode, you can have a lot of fun with it. But again, it's in the middle of my ranked list here because when I watch a Halloween film, like so many other people, I want to see Michael Myers, and that's where this movie really fails. We've made it to the top 5 of my Halloween movies ranked list, and this was a really difficult list to put together. All of these movies are great, and I think there's a case to be made that each one of these films could be at number 1. But since I have to put them in ranked order, at number 5, I have Halloween H2O. This film would, of course, bring back Jamie Lee Curtis after so many years of her not being in this franchise. She would return once again as Laurie Strode, and on the positive side of this film, I think it has one of the best showdowns between Michael and Laurie in the entire franchise. I also like that they took this away from Haddonfield. They moved this to a private school to have a different setting because we'd seen so much of Haddonfield at this point. So I think this was a very smart move to move this to a private school setting. That also limited the amount of people that would be at that school since it was during a time when all the students were on a trip. So you've got Laurie Strode there, you've got her son played by Josh Hartnett, you've got a security guard played by LL Cool J, just got a few other people that are there in that building, but Michael Myers goes through so many of them, trying once again to get to his sister. And I think one of the only things holding this movie back for me, maybe why I put it at number 5, is because this movie takes a lot of time building up to Michael and Laurie coming face to face. Because it's been 20 years since these characters had seen each other, so they really try to play with Michael being teased throughout this film. But for us fans, we had gotten so much of Michael Myers over the years that us seeing Michael Myers wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, it might be a big deal to Laurie Strode, who hasn't seen Michael in 20 years, but for us, the fans, it was like, no, we've seen him killing people. And so throughout this film, they sort of tease Michael very slowly through the first half of this movie. By the time you get to the end, again, you do get a fun showdown between Laurie and Michael, but it takes a while to get there. So for those reasons, Halloween H2O is number 5. At number 4, we have Halloween 2 from 1981, and the tagline for this movie was "More from the Night He Came Home." And it's tagged with that because this was a direct continuation to Halloween 1978, making it the same night as that original film, with Michael continuing to go after Laurie Strode. And I think this movie does a lot of things right, but one of the things that I really like about this film is that it takes it out of that neighborhood setting and moves it to the hospital. It gives Michael a brand new place to go around and kill people. It makes him use different weapons on his way looking for Laurie Strode. And another thing that this movie does really well is it expands on the lore of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. Instead of it just being a random babysitter that Michael's going after, this movie explains that they're actually brother and sister. So I think it takes the stakes from the first film and it moves them to the next level. It doesn't always work, but for the most part, I think this is a great follow-up to that original 1978 classic. And at number 3, we have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now, before you blast me in the comment section and tell me how wrong I am for having this at number 3, just remember all of our experiences with this franchise are going to be a little bit different. For instance, this was the first Halloween film that I saw on the big screen, so I've always loved this movie because of that. But I also love this movie for other reasons, but before getting into those reasons, I will agree with you guys that everything involving the white horse and Michael's mom and the young Michael in this movie, I don't like any of that. I agree that that should have been cut out of the movie and they should have made this a more straightforward straightforward Halloween film with Michael once again going after Laurie. But instead, you bring in Michael's mom, who kind of eggs on all the chaos, which is completely unlike her character in the first film. So if you're here to tell me that, like, hey, all the White Horse stuff sucks, I get it. I agree. But on the positive side of this movie, Michael Myers going through the people of Haddonfield on his way to his sister throughout this film as he's killing so many people, it's a lot of fun to watch. I also really love the look of Haddonfield in this movie. It's one of the few Halloween films that really captures the Midwest atmosphere, much like Halloween 4, which is a movie that I think Rob Zombie takes a lot of his inspiration from, because at the end of this film, the evil transfers from Michael to Laurie Strode herself, just like at the end of Halloween 4 when the evil transfers itself into Jamie Lloyd. And another thing I like about this movie is how Dr. Loomis acts throughout this film. A lot of people hate that. They say it's completely out of character for Dr. Loomis. He was one way in the first film and then he's immediately just a dick in the second film. But I kind of explain that away with, well, if the person you were trying to help your entire life turned on you and tried to kill you, yeah, you'd probably have an attitude. Yeah, you might write a book about how evil he is, and yeah, you might be a dick of a person if you lived through that traumatic experience. So while I understand that there's flaws with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, it's always been one that I can put on and watch and have a great time with. We've made it to the top 2 movies in my Halloween movies ranked list, and if you've watched this far, I really appreciate it, and I would love for you guys to leave your ranked list in that comment section down below. All right, guys, let's get into the final 2 movies on this list. So at number 2, brace yourselves here, because we're talking about Halloween from 1978. This is an absolute classic horror film that spawned such a great franchise over the years. Yeah, there were hits and misses along the way, but none of it would have been possible without Halloween from 1978. The iconic theme song starts right here in this movie. The look, the mask of Michael Myers starts in this movie. I love the killing spree that Michael goes on through Haddonfield, killing all of the different babysitters, leading to his first showdown between Michael and Laurie Strode. The overall creepy atmosphere in this movie is great too. The look of Haddonfield. Like I said, there's a lot to love about this movie. The only reason this movie's at number 2 is because I think the next movie we talk about actually improves on all of the things we just talked about. And that leads to my number 1 film in the Halloween franchise. At number 1, we have Halloween from 2018. I know the next 2 movies in the franchise are not very good. Hell, they were at 9 and 10 in this list. But I think this movie does what I was talking about a second ago, and it improves on so many things from that first film. Since this is a direct sequel to that first film, I feel like you can make those comparisons. I love where Laurie is at 40 years later, how she's been worried about the boogeyman coming after her. I love that they cut out the brother and sister idea from this timeline, because now you have Laurie who's been preparing ultimately for nothing. Yes, the boogeyman does come back. Yes, their paths do cross, but it only crosses because somebody wanted it to. I also love how they improve on the theme song in this movie, the opening title sequence in this movie, and I love the mask of Michael Myers. So again, that original John Carpenter classic Halloween is a great film, but I think Halloween from 2018 really improves on all of those things that were already done so well. And that's why I have Halloween 2018 as my number 1 movie for the entire Halloween franchise. And guys, that's my list. That's all of the Halloween films ranked from worst to best in my personal opinion. But again, I would love to know how you guys would rank this franchise in the comment section. And finally, guys, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, because it helps the video, it helps the channel, and it helps me right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. All right, guys, we got to the end of my Halloween movies ranked list. I know a lot of these picks are going to be controversial. Just remember, everybody's list is a little bit different. I had a great time putting this list together, and I had a great time watching and reviewing every one of the Halloween movies in this franchise. So my question to you guys is, what's next? What horror movie franchise should I review next? Let me know in that comment section. Thanks for watching this video, and if you want to watch any of the other content on my channel, well, I've got my entire Halloween movie review series playlist right there, and I've got all of my 2025 movie reviews right there.